oh Lord, now they're making out. And by the way, Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel, it's like watching two pieces of cardboard trying to hook up. It's not sexy at all. It's not sexy at all. And so then it's like they have to do this, they have to add extra ass to make up for the fact that the lead characters have no chemistry.
Yeah.
So it's just like, here I am trying to watch a Mustang rip apart a police vault, and then there's a ass. It's like, oh, well, this is hardly relevant to the plot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in Mission Impossible, we don't do that. No one has kissed since movie 3. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about.
Interestingly, that's where you like to start your rewatches.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
I'm a famously sex negative influencer.
I'm hat today.
Listeners, Lindy's wearing a hat. If you're listening audially, you can't see the hat, but it's like is it denim?
Yep.
Denim dad hat that says King's Quest 5?
That's right.
Don't know what that is. I assume a video game.
Only the most important video game of all time, Meagan.
Oh. Did you get it in like a PR package?
No, the game came out in probably 1992.
Oh.
King's Quest 5 is a computer game, MS-DOS based, about a king who goes on a quest to save his family. Anyway,
5 times, apparently.
Well, yeah, different members of his family go on quests. Well, actually 7 times. There's actually eight times. Wait, yeah, 8. There's 8, and then there was sort of a reboot, unofficial. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm wearing a hat, and I think it's Hat Girl Summer, and I think that I'm patient zero, and I'm, you know what, Meagan? They're saying I'm hat.
They're saying you're hat.
I'm hat.
Truly, every time I see a hat or I see a person in a hat, my first thought in my brain is hat.
Yeah. Yeah. Hat. I mean, I can't stop looking at my own window in the Riverside
and thinking hat. It's a good hat. It looks really good on you. We were just saying, in our 25 years of friendship, this is not an over-exaggeration, never seen you wear a hat. I've never seen it.
No.
We were saying perhaps, mayhap, I saw you in a freaking like beach hat. Kevin's upset. He's never seen you in a hat either, you know?
You've never seen me in a hat, Meagan. And you know why? It's because I got a basketball head. It's huge and round. And there's never been a hat.
That melon is enormous.
Dude, that melon is smelling because it's overripe and it's about to explode. But then, but I bought this hat. So I've never found a sun hat that even fit me. But you know, these little ball caps are adjustable. So but I didn't even buy this to wear. I just bought it to look at. I mean, I thought maybe I'd wear it. But anyway, then today it was time to do podcast. And I looked in the mirror and I said, oh boy.
Did Lindy watch these guys?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Boy, she didn't.
She sure didn't, gang. But she does have a hat. It's like a dad hat, if you're wondering. If you're watching it visually, you'll see how well I described it. But it's like a dad hat. Okay,
but counterpoint.
Yes.
It's not true that you've never seen me in a hat because we used to have matching hats that we got.
We used to have oh my God, yes. We went to the Norwegian gift shop in Ballard and we got matching UFTA hats, trucker hats.
Thank you.
And we used to wear those bad boys around. And actually, now that I think about it, speaking of Norwegian-based hats, your mom has a novelty, Mad Hatter velvet top hat.
Yes.
And I have seen you wear that. It has the Norwegian flag on the front.
Yeah, I've seen you wear that.
Okay, if you insist. If there's any proof, I don't know. Weirdly enough, this is not a show about hats.
What?
It's Text Me Back podcast.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm Meagan Hatcher Mace. Hat your mace.
Oh my God. And I'm Lindy West, and I've taken the hat shot drug.
It's not working. It's not working. He's very rich. Anyways, on today's show, we're gonna do the following. I'm looking at it on the doc. One moment. Oh! I'm going to tell you about how I saw Mission Impossible, I guess. That's what that's written here. The scariest sentence in all of the English language. Lindy has a surprise. That's what you said 2 days ago. I hope you remembered.
I sure did.
And finally, Elon is quote unquote retiring from quote unquote working for the quote unquote federal government. But first, we have some business to discuss.
Wait.
Which means yes.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
To do something.
Oh, God.
No.
What is
it's
it?
Important. It's fine. I made some files for the media board. No, you won't hate it. It's good. But one of them has to do with business. But I got to figure out how to.
I'm not sure if you can do it once we've started recording.
Oh.
So I guess we got out of that jam, didn't we, folks? Or maybe you can. I don't know. I'm not going to help you.
I made individual clips of all the different parts of the Trump thing. So there's one that says fat shot drug. And next time we had a business moment, I wanted to play, he says, like, very successful businessman, seriously overweight.
Very rich.
President, can I ask you a question? Anyway, okay, well.
Can I ask you, President? He calls me President. Very respectful. That's called a cliffhanger. If you want to know what Donald Trump said, you're going to have to tune in next week because you've already heard it.
Well,
and we just did it.
We talked about it last. We talked about it last week. We didn't pull the clip then.
Nope. It's the classic text me back 2-week cliffhanger.
For news that happened 2 weeks before we talked about it on the show.
If you wanted to talk about the fat shot drug, you should have called in last week. It's not that complicated.
This week's show.
This week's show is about
hats.
Hats. If you want to talk about hats, call in
next
now.
Week. No. If you're watching now,
it's not that complicated. Anyway, this week's show is about business.
Bubba business. Bubba business.
Seriously overweight.
Very rich.
He's so horny for how rich the guy is. It's crazy.
Anyways, we have some business to discuss. We want to remind you that the YouTube is back. We've got some really nice notes about it. A lot of people missed the YouTube. I was so surprised because I was like, who watches the YouTube? As it turns out, many of you do. And you're happy to see it back. So thank you, Patreon subscribers, for making that a reality with your support.
You know what I was thinking on the toilet this morning, Megan? People who subscribe to the YouTube rock.
Yeah, bro. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah. They rock.
More and more.
I just like them more than other people.
Oh, spicy. If you want to be one of Lindy's favored sons, you better subscribe to the YouTube. Also, did you remember as well, too, that we have a newsletter now.
That's
it's
right.
called Newsletter Me Back, newslettermeback.substack.com. Check it out. Did you know also as well, and additionally, it's $0 to subscribe?
Permanently
free? Yep. Permanently free? Permanently $0?
It will never not be $0. And in fact, it wants you to let your subscribers pledge a dollar amount that they would be willing to pay later. And you know what I said? Toggle that off. I don't want
off.
Off.
No.
I don't want you pledges.
We don't want them because what we want is for you to enjoy our newsletter, written primarily by Lindy West. Ever heard of her? That's her right there in the hat. Hat. So go check it out. Newslettermeback.substack.com. It's just a way for us to KIT in between episodes because as we were just joking about, the show is recorded on a Thursday. It doesn't come out till the following Thursday. And in that 7 days, so much stuff happens. And then by the time we're able to talk about it, you got to wait another 7 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there might be some more newsy stuff in there. Lindy's already sent out a picture of the most terrible bug I've ever seen.
Oh,
so
it's been identified, by the way.
I saw. It's apparently a pine.
Yes, it's the sculptured pine beetle. It eats dead trees. It's perfectly harmless and it's not invasive. It's from here.
Okay. It's one of the worst bugs I've ever seen. And it really sent me for a loop because I said I felt a relative sense of safety in the Pacific Northwest when I was growing up because, they say we don't really have ticks. Yeah. We don't have any poisonous, deadly spiders in the Pacific Northwest. You might come across a rattlesnake or two, but only if you're trying. I'm not going to Eastern Washington for any reason, so I'm good. Now all of a sudden there's ticks everywhere. Okay, there's the stink bug. Somehow those made it over the Rockies to the West Coast. Dude. I don't know how that happened, and they do in fact stink real bad.
That's the craziest plague of all.
I know, and now they've got whatever this fucking thing is, which I've never seen. And they're saying it's native to the region. I don't believe you. I feel like something's going on. I feel like they're adding bugs.
I feel like well, they're adding bugs, and yet they're taking bugs away.
It doesn't make any sense.
I've heard the insect population is crashing. So
they're taking away the helpful bugs, and they're adding in Jurassic bugs.
Yeah,
and I don't think that I requested that.
No.
So.
No.
By the way, living on the East Coast is one of the worst because, bugs just come up out of the ground here.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Every 7 to 11 years, this little fucking demon cicada brood comes out of the ground and it just goes for 3 months straight. And then it dies. It doesn't even do anything. They don't do anything. They come out of the ground and they get eaten and then they die. And all they do is scare me. Yeah. By the way, they pee. You can feel them peeing on you.
Oh, some guy likes that.
Probably
they're adding. Put your pictures on Wikifeed.
Loverboy #1. He loves cicada pee too. What a freak. Anyways, so that's business update. And here's the final and last business update for you. We asked you to name our new $12 tier. I had a favorite going into it. My favorite did not win, and that's fine. That's fine. Because the winner of the naming contest for the $12 tier, which you should subscribe to, patreon.com/textmebackpod, is Freekaconda.
Yeah.
And I'm just now remembering what it was that I was going to put in the media board, which for some reason it's not in there, is the Freekaconda song.
God damn it. Yeah, we should be playing that in every episode.
It's ridiculous. It's such a banger. So what we're going to do is, even though Lindy and I are not hearing it and thus not enjoying the beauty that is that composition, you're going to listen to it right now because we're going to add it in post. Enjoy. One time with the Freek Vonk. Cool. I hit him 2 times with the Freek Vonk. Freek Vonk.
Ooh, Dr. Vonk.
Freek Vonk. We are the freak.
Dr. Vonk.
Vonk, Vonk.
Ooh, wiggly skin.
Stay on the ones. And always keep it funky. We are the freak. Okay, I can't do this anymore. I
to the Vonk. Wow, that was good.
Wow, so good. What a banger.
I love to hear that song.
Thank you for voting and congrats to the $12 tier members, the Freekacondas. You did it, babe. And I hope that you last longer than actual Freekaconda did. May she rest in power.
Yeah, she got murked one day after she was discovered.
Immediately murdered.
And I'd like to say congratulations to us.
Yeah.
The two kings of this podcast who showed their commitment to democracy by letting the vote stand, even though we had a secret favorite.
Even though the Supreme Court said I could overrule you if I wanted.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. The one that Lindy and I liked the best was Big Beautiful Listeners, aka the BBLs. We're going to use it for something else coming this fall to an audio or visual medium, but not television or a streaming service or anything. Nothing like that.
Wow. Get ready, because we will be using it for a podcast segment on a podcast that you already listened to near you, called This Podcast.
Excuse me, it's called Building Excitement. It's called The Classic Text Me Back Cliffhanger.
Here's the thing, though. You know what?
Yeah.
All of our listeners are big, beautiful listeners. You know? And I think that's nice.
I think so, too.
So this program has already given thousands of BBLs to BBWs.
It's so true. And the BBLs are supporting the BBWs in many ways.
It's true.
And that's what the people want to see online is BBLs on BBWs, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's what they like.
So stupid.
Anyway, check us out. OnlyFans.com/textmebackpod. I am pleased to announce we have 78 subscribers at the 12. Amazing. And many of you are upgrades. So you upgraded from a lower tier to the higher one. And we just thank you so much because, the community is so special. Community is so beautiful. We love making the podcast. And I know I've said this before, but the more you support the podcast, the more podcast supports you by existing. So thanks.
Thank you. And we have over 100 subscribers to the newsletter Me Back already.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She said.
And really, it's not a trick.
It's not.
I just once a week, I'm going to write down some silly stuff that we didn't get to on the podcast and let you know what's up.
I can't emphasize this enough. Do you like Lindy? You will like the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. I might make an appearance from time to time, but I love to be asleep on a Sunday.
You got Day Job LLC to deal with.
I do got Day Job LLC. It's pretty terrible. And that's our business update. Let's play the song again. Why not? Maybe we should just play Gino's. That's business.
Can we play it? I was just singing it while your headphones weren't working.
Gino's.
Gino's, you go for the food we've got. Gino's, you go for it sizzling hot. Gino's, you go for the food. Burgers, french fries, chicken too. Gino's, salad bars, steaks and milkshakes. Gino's, you go for the food. Gino's, you go for the food we've got. We've got it. Gino's, you go for it sizzling hot. Gino's, you go for the food.
Oh boy. You know who was up to some good business was Luther Vandross.
Love him. I love him so much.
Should we start the show? I guess really what we're doing is tidings and not like its own segment called Meagan Went to See Mission Impossible.
Well, it could be a Whatcha Watchin. Mine's normal news.
Okay. I'm going to do a Whatcha Watchin. We don't have a Whatcha Watchin theme song for those of you out there clamoring to write a theme song for this podcast. Hello,
new listener on the Discord came in and said, "Can I write a theme song? What still needs one?" And
I said, "Hell yeah." I said, "We need one for mailbag," and then someone was offended because, technically Lindy did write a mailbag jingle, but
that's called my ally that I love. What happened was that Naomi, new to the Discord, came and said, "Do any segments still need theme songs?" Meagan said, "Yes, there are many songless segments, such as Normal News, I Can Fix Her, and Whatcha Watchin'. And we also don't have one for mailbag unless Nickelodeon gives us the rights to the Blues Clues jingle," which I think they're considering. I think they're considering it.
Yeah, I think Carl Nickelodeon is really getting close to a deal. Mm-hmm.
And then a queen, Maria P, popped in and said, "You mean Lindy's mailbag, wee, wee, wee." That didn't get approved as an official
Maria,
jingle?
do you think that's helping?
Yes, it is, Maria. Yes, it is, Maria. Thank you,
Do you
Maria.
think that's helpful? I don't think so.
So anyway, we're going to do 2 songless segments today. We're going to do Whatcha Watchin' and we're going to do normal news.
Whatcha Watchin'? Pleased to tell you the answer is Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, starring Thomas Cruise. What a film.
Really quick.
Yes.
Can you hold that poster up again?
Yes. For those of you listening audioly, I got a really cool poster.
Now, what I'm seeing is we got a silhouette of Tom Cruise running.
Yes.
Someone has fired a torpedo at his head.
Correct.
And then meanwhile, over to the left, there's a plane that's flying upside down.
Yep.
That's what the movie's about? That's pretty much it?
Yeah, what's your question exactly? I don't really understand.
Just wanted to make sure that I was reading the poster correctly.
Lindy sent me a video of Tom Cruise eating popcorn weird and was like, "What's this about?" And I was like, "Literally, I don't understand the question." A very normal way for a man to eat popcorn. It's one of our most top normal ways to eat popcorn, by sort of like jostling it into your mouth hole. Into your head. Yeah. Why is that weird?
What about that other Tom Cruise video I sent you from the press tour where someone's like,
oh my God. Yes, it's a video, I think from E! News, Entertainment, ! News. That's like, what's your ideal Father's Day? And you can just see this shadow pass over Tom Cruise's face, famously not on speaking terms with his youngest, Suri, because, Katie Holmes had to escape with like burner phones.
She had to Mission Impossible out of the Scientology bunker.
She torpedoed herself at her own head and
upside down
escaped.
Plane.
Anyway, famously doesn't speak to Suri Cruise, although I do think he might still talk to the older ones that he had with Nicole Kidman. It was like Suri Cruise, I think, changed her last name to Holmes or like to her middle name or something. So she doesn't even go by Suri Cruise anymore. It's like it's so messy. So look, is Tom Cruise a good person? We've already established this on the show. No, he's not. Does the man make a kick-ass fucking movie? Is he upside down on a biplane? Yes, bitch. Yes, he is. Does he deserve $11 for that? I think so.
$11?
Or like 17, however much a movie ticket costs.
I thought you meant he got paid $11 to do it.
He got paid $11 by me, moviegoer.
I see.
Johnny Q, moviegoer. That's me.
I thought you were saying he's so dedicated to the movies that he lowered his salary to $11 to accommodate the biplane budget.
Yeah, took a nominal $1 salary. He's getting the rest of it on the back end, as they say in Hollywood.
They don't believe in taking things on the back end in Scientology.
No, they sure don't. For some reason, a religion they invented like 50 years ago is homophobic. Like, what the fuck?
Guys.
Okay.
Sure.
Seems a little too new to be homophobic, but what do I know? Anyways, so the reporter's like, what's your ideal Father's Day? And the way she asks it is like she doesn't know anything about Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Even a passing hater of Tom Cruise knows.
Yeah.
He's not that man is not celebrating Father's Day due to situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this very terrifying shadow crosses Tom Cruise's face, and he just goes, "I like the movies. I like to go to the movies. I'll see you at the movies." Like he just like reverted to his "I'll see you at the movies" robot.
Yep.
And I saw that shit, and I was chilled to the bone. I've never seen a scarier film than that 15-second clip from Entertainment News. Yep. I said, "Oh Lord, that reporter's going to be found in a ditch."
Yeah, that's right.
Not good.
That's right.
Not good at all.
Oh, The Shining. Who? Try enews!.com.
The red carpet with Tom Cruise. It's terrifying. We'll post it so you can see how scary it is. Anyway, this is a fun segment full of laughs. And I went to go see Mission Impossible. I've seen them all. They just scratched the itch of the most ridiculous shit available.
Yeah.
And when life is hard, that's what you're really looking for. Is someone going to be hanging upside down on a plane? Sign me up. Is Tom Cruise going to be half naked on a submarine? Sure. I'm available for that. You know,
Do they have a story, or is it just sort of
girl, I don't know why you would ask me that. I don't know why you would ask me that. It's like you want to find something wrong with Mission Impossible 8 Final Reckoning.
No. I saw one. I saw 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a thing about 2. 1, as I think we've discussed, all I remember is Emilio Estevez getting forked in the face.
Yeah, except you didn't remember it was Emilio Estevez.
I didn't. You had to tell me.
Of course, I thought about, because this is like, you know, his Ethan Hunt's swan song. They're saying it's probably Tom Cruise's last Mission Impossible movie. So they're bringing in a lot of stuff that happened in the first 7 movies. So they like, how did he become the man he is today? You know, and one of the things that shaped him was Emilio Estevez getting fucking stabbed in the face by an elevator shaft fork. And they showed it, and I was like, oh, that reminds me that Lindy didn't remember that was Emilio Estevez. Anyway, so they bring back some plot points from previous films, including from 3, which I never rewatch, even though Kerry Russell, aka Felicity, is in it briefly.
Why do you hate that one?
It's not good, but Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it too, so maybe I should revisit it.
Sounds like it is good.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I should rewatch it just to like. But I usually start my rewatch from 4 onwards. But everyone knows that Fallout is the best of the series. Okay. Duh. As you know, Lindy, come on.
Yes.
That's the one where he hangs off the payload of a helicopter.
Yes, absolutely.
What more do you want? This man is risking his life to entertain me. I don't care what he gets up to in his free time. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess I should. Sorry.
I don't. That's not the argument I'm making. What sets Mission Impossible apart from, say, Fast and Furious franchise?
Great question. Such a good question. And I'm glad you asked it. Well, Fast and Furious and Mission Impossible scratch the same itch-ish. Because one thing about Megan Hatchermaze, she likes to enter a cinematic universe and not leave it for upwards of 12 hours.
Yeah.
I want to be in there. That's why I watch the Hobbit movies. Do I like them? No. Are they good? Definitely not. They're not even really all that entertaining. But it extends my time in Middle Earth by 9 hours.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you're searching for a new home.
Correct. I'm wandering. But Fast and Furious is very macho. And it doesn't stop being that really until like the 5th movie when they're in Brazil. You know, wow. But it's always just an excuse to be like, that ass. There's just so much ass in it, you know?
I feel like you like that.
Yeah, I'm not against it. It's just like, here's what I want. I want the vibe of every movie I watch to be Nicolas Cage saying, we have to kidnap the president of the United States. Yeah. Give me something ridiculous.
But what I'm picking up on is that what pushes Mission Impossible over the edge for you is that you like Tom Cruise's sort of sexless, rubber rubber automaton vibe.
Yes, I like the movies. We'll see you at the movies. I love it. Whereas Fast and Furious is just it gets into the vagaries of human life in a way that I don't really need. It's like, oh Lord, now they're making out. And by the way, Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel, it's like watching 2 pieces of cardboard trying to hook up. It's not sexy at all. And so then it's like they have to do this. They have to add extra ass to make up for the fact that the lead characters have no chemistry.
Yeah.
So it's just like, here I am trying to watch a Mustang rip apart a police vault. And then there's a ass. It's like, oh, well, this is hardly relevant to the plot, you know? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in Mission Impossible, we don't do that. No one has kissed since movie 3. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about.
Interestingly, that's where you like to start your rewatches. Coincidence?
I'm a famously sex negative influencer. So
yeah, you say that, although just a couple days ago, I was searching for I was buying myself a new earring rack on Etsy. and I picked one out, and you can have it engraved. And I said,
Yeah.
what should I have engraved on it? And you said I should have it say dad ass.
I did
So
say that.
your butt's writing checks
But
that
I
your
didn't say-
mouth can't cash.
That ass is writing checks. that mouth. No, it's just like the film theory thing where everything is filmed from the male gaze. And this is true for almost every movie. But Fast and Furious is very unapologetically like, a man is watching this.
You know why? Because all cars are men.
All cars are men. And I think that actually is true, except for Mini Coopers. Those are women.
Yeah.
But like, so it's just, so you get pulled out of it a lot more in Fast and Furious than you do in Mission Impossible, where it's like, maybe this is the male gaze. I don't know. What I do know is Tom Cruise is hanging off a helicopter payload. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. And I am for that. I'm
all
in favor.
helicopters are pan.
It's true. That's what they're saying. And that's why we have to shut down the Department of Education.
That's right.
Anyway, so I went to go see the movie. Was it good? No. Am I going to buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out? Absolutely.
Mhm.
I gotta finish off my collection, you know? And there was a freaking little mouse in our movie theater.
What?
And he came out. Yeah, it was crazy. He came out from underneath a little movie curtain and went meep, 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 meep. And then like turn around and like went back. And I was like, mouse, mouse,
Hat.
and then hat, mouse. And then afterwards, I told the guys up front, I was like, hey, sorry to harsh your mellow. I'm sorry to bring us down from the high of Mission Impossible 8: Final Reckoning. But there was a mouse in our theater. And the guy just went, okay. Which theater was it? I was like, theater 5. Are you more upset? Anyway, so I don't know what happened to
He
that
was
mouse.
not going to do a thing.
No, I believe he's probably still with us based on the reaction of the theaterman. So anyways,
maybe it's a Ratatouille situation where the mouse is actually running the projector.
mouse.
It's a perfect place to live if you're a mouse.
Oh my God.
It's always dark. No one can see you. There's snacks everywhere.
Infinite snack.
In fact,
Mhm.
you're helping out the theater employees who have to clean up after
Absolutely.
every show.
Because
If
you're
you're-
cleaning up after every show.
So
Shout out to him. You know?
shout out to Mouse.
Yeah. Shout out. Mouse hat.
Get Mouse a hat already.
A top hat, if you will. What's your surprise? Is that what we're talking about? I'm scared.
Yeah, it's time for normal news.
It's normal news.
There's a new worm in town,
Oh,
and it's called the man-eating screwworm.
oh, no.
I'm so sorry. It's coming.
Oh, for dad ass.
It's coming for dead ass. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry to tell you. So my internet knows what I like. So imagine my joy and delight when I turn on my Apple News to read some headlines and I see this from The Atlantic. The man-eater screwworm is coming. Now, I clicked on it. It would not let me read it.
Oh, illegal.
I go to Google. I search screwworm Atlantic. Comes up again. The man-eater screwworm is coming. Still paywalled. Could not read it.
Ugh.
Not only that, I discovered they wrote about it in 2020, the screwworm. The headline then was America's never-ending battle against America's never-ending battle against flesh-eating worms.
Yeah, no.
So then I scroll, I find CBS News. Here we go.
Mm.
Texas officials warn of man-eater screwworm
Oh.
that burrows into open wounds, eyes, and mouths to lay eggs.
Oh.
Sorry. So I'm like, this is great.
This is great. This is great.
Great for the podcast, not for the open wounds and
It
eyes.
was great for the screwworm.
It's great for the screwworm.
Also.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Megs. Glass half full for the screwworm. Half full of eggs to go into your eyes.
Oh no.
But so then I go and I read the CBS article. Come to find out, there's an implication that the screwworm is a new guy, a new man on campus. The screwworm is simply the larva of the blowfly, which I've known about for years. The blowfly.
I don't know him.
He's like
and I
the
don't need to know.
botfly.
I don't need to know any more about him.
The blowfly poops his eggs into your eyes, and then
Jesus
the screwworm hatches and eats your eyes, I guess. So I was misled a little bit by the headline. The screwworm, I thought, was like maybe it came from space, maybe it was an alien worm, maybe because they're like the man-eating screwworm is coming. Maybe it's not here yet. It's on a comet, an asteroid headed for Earth. I don't know. No, it's just
at a minimum, it's on a boat, I assume.
Right? It's just a regular worm that's in South America. So
why did it say America's never-ending battle with the screwworm if it's not here?
So there's two kinds of screwworms. New World screwworms and Old World screwworms. We're talking here about the New World screwworms, which are endemic to South America and then also like a little bit in the Caribbean. But the problem is they're trying to move north. They've found some screwworms in Texas.
Oh.
And we've been fighting a never-ending battle against them, trying to keep them from moving up into North America, but they've now found a few in Mexico and they've found a few in Texas. So people are freaking out. But this happens fairly often, is that one screwworm will make it through the
customs
and because they can fly. A fly can,
but not in worm form.
No, but the fly can famously fly, and so
that's what they say.
Their mom can fly them up, and drop them off. But what I didn't know is that in our never-ending battle against the man-eating worms, what we did was we created essentially worm birth control. We made like millions and millions and billions of infertile boy worms and flies. And then we like sprinkled them all over like a sort of in a strip in like a band. But like a wall, like a golden dome of sterile bugs.
Okay.
So that then the women flies, they're like, ooh, I'm horny. I'm going to go have sex.
Oh, my God. Ugh.
I know. It's really the Fast and the Furious franchise of
bugs. Yeah.
Then they have sex with the sterile boy. And then I guess they just both die because their whole thing is that they just do it once and then they die. And so
here's a question. Hang on.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that with mosquitoes? What do we need them fucks for? Put a bunch of sterile mosquitoes out there and call it a day. Call it a wrap.
That is such a good question that I need to do more research on. And maybe we should suggest that. Maybe they haven't thought of it.
Well, I think it's something to think about because that shit sucks.
It sucks. It's probably worse than the screwworm, honestly, because it's itchy. The screwworm, you just get a great big open wound and then you have to have your limb amputated, Well, what are we going to do? So it sounds like America won the battle against screwworm. No, so that somehow they figured out how to get past, they got like Viagra or something. They figured out how to take off their worm condoms and get past get past the dome.
So now the battle is back on.
The battle's back on. But then in my research, I find an article from like 2006 that was like, the screwworm's coming. So I'm kind of like...
This is like how they used to fearmonger about Ebola all the time.
Exactly.
And then nobody ever gets Ebola. There was one guy in Maryland who had it, and that was it. Except now, maybe we will have more screwworm because they're canceling all of the grants that keep us safe from worms and bugs and pandemics. Yep. So screwworm hive, we eatin'. We feasting on eyeballs tonight.
So anyway, sorry to break the news to you like that.
Wow, that really sucks. I don't like it. There's nothing about that I enjoyed.
Yep.
At all.
Okay, but I'm gonna send you a picture of the screwworm because it does have No, it has a cute little mustache.
I don't believe you.
It does. It actually is really cute. It has a cute little mustache.
I don't like him.
Can I please send it to you?
Why are you mad at me? I just want to talk about a worm burrowing into your eyeball, into your retina.
I'm just going to text it to you a little bit, the picture with the little mustache.
Okay, I'm looking forward. Is this a real picture?
Yeah, what do you mean? It has a little mustache.
Those look like fangs. I don't like that at all.
They literally
creepy.
are fangs, but it looks like a little mustache. Those are the fangs that it grips your flesh with while it eats you.
He makes me uncomfortable, and I don't like him.
Well, if you see one, you need to call, I guess, who's left of the government.
See something, say something. And I think who's left is
Christy Nome,
Caroline Levitt, and her husband, who's 35 years older than her. I'll call those two.
Yeah.
And see
They'll
if
take
they
care
can
of it.
do something about the screwworm. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we're going to go come back, then we're going to talk about who was the one who cut the funding for screwworm destruction.
Exactly. It's a perfect segue. That's
it
why
was Elon Musk, of course.
That's why I did a good segment, because it segues perfectly into the next segment.
And that's why I did a good segment. BRB. All right, we have returned. I hope you spent the break thinking about the screwworm and his little mustache.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about the man who brought you the screwworm.
He looks like Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot.
But a worm.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile. Okay.
He's burrowing into the heart of the mystery.
And now we're going to talk about the demon who did it.
Segment pubes.
In a segment we're calling Segment Pubes, people using bad ethics and systems.
I love Segment
You know,
Pubes.
we haven't played that song in so long. It's so good. I love it.
So good.
So good. A classic of the text me back genre. Oh boy, gang. By the time you're listening to this, you are over it. But Elon Musk, our beautiful, unelected billionaire psychopath / ketamine addicted demon racist, is leaving the government. He's leaving his government job, which was never a job and was never part of the government. But he's all done with that. He's going back to his businesses to make Tesla great again. And to you, Elon Musk, we salute. We salute. No, we the opposite of salute. You're an asshole. And I hope you get permanent diarrhea. You know?
I just saw a thing on, Liz Winstead posted it, that Elon is in a throuple with Stephen Miller and his wife.
Well, we stan polyamory representation. So, listen, this man is a rotted, rancid little sack of shit. I cannot believe. There's just so much I want to say about this. I can't even get properly mad. You know, I feel like this go round, I just feel so defeated. You know what I mean? Like everything is so deranged. And this Elon Musk thing is just like such a perfect example of like how psychotic everything is, that like this one man who has not been authorized by Congress or any agency to do any of this was allowed to like shut down most of the government. Yeah. There's an article in the New York Times today, which you have all, I'm sure, seen at this point, that his interference with USAID, which resulted in effectively the entire organization shutting down, has already resulted in 300,000 deaths in the global South, including many of them are children and infants. Like, that's his legacy. He serially killed 300,000 people. Yeah. So that he could get a government like a military contract. Like,
yeah.
What even is the word for that stage of capitalism? Is that just regular capitalism, I guess? Like I don't even know. It just is so violent and deranged and evil. And he's finally leaving. And all the headlines are like, Elon Musk back to business. Or like, poor Elon Musk discovers the limitations of government. Like, oh, poor him.
Sorry, did he? Did they stop him from doing anything that he wanted to do?
He was devastatingly successful at killing poor people abroad. Like, and like his, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
crazy.
He just destroyed American democracy over the course of 6 weeks. And everyone's like, well, back to business for the genius businessman, Elon Musk.
Bye, buddy.
And it's
thanks for your service.
What is this narrative that is emerging? It is so crazy. Like, even if you are like a business journalist, how is that the headline? Like, his foray into government almost single-handedly destroyed his businesses. You know what I mean?
And the government.
There's nothing he did that was good for anyone. And you're like, he's a genius. And now he's back to his genius business. It's so crazy. I feel insane. Like, every day I wake up and I feel insane. Like, I just feel like yesterday the headline said we've always been at war with, and now we're at war with. It's like, it really is just 1984. That's what they're doing. I don't like it.
It is really crazy how, I don't want to say no one, because people always speak in hyperbole like that. Like, no one's saying, like, people are saying, like, we're saying, but like the mainstream narrative about everything is not real.
Right.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've just never seen anything on this scale before.
It's like this weird chasing of objectivity is actually just making everything worse, because what you're chasing is not objectivity. Like, you finding a mealy mouth way of saying what's going on is doing PR for someone who is evil. Yeah. Like, that's not objectivity. That's like you doing a solid for the richest man who has ever lived in the history of the world. Like, he doesn't need you to do that. The whole point of journalism is to hold powerful people accountable. Yeah. And you're like wistfully like, well, good luck at Tesla. We're rooting for you, King. Like, it's so strange. 300,000 lives on this guy's hands. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and he did all these weird, like, niche side quests where we had to bring over a bunch of Afrikaner Nazis to let them homestead in America. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And then the media, by and large, is just like, controversial businessman Elon Musk has the ear of the president. Like,
well, controversial. Like, I feel like there is something so disorienting and like destabilizing about, like, if you say what's actually going on, it's so extreme and intense, and then you say it, and then nothing happens and nothing changes. Yeah. Like, and so I think eventually your brain starts to be like, I guess maybe that's not what's like, because if you're like, sadistic madman takes over government and kills everyone. Yeah. And by the way, America has fallen. FYI, we are Nazis now. Yeah. And you should be able to say that, and then everyone in the country starts screaming. But instead, you say it and everyone's like, And so then at a certain point, it's like, whoa.
Right. Well, I just think we're just so, like, used to no one taking any real action in response to these very real, like, devastating crimes, I would say, or just like these attacks on, like, everything we thought was real and true. Like, even when other Republicans were president, we were still like, well, the country still exists. I don't agree with George W. Bush, but the country's still here. Right. And now it feels like, I don't know. I feel like everyone's so beaten down. It's like, not to sorry, trigger warning, I'm going to talk about gun violence here, but it's like we're just letting kids get mowed down in schools all of the time, and Congress doesn't do anything about that. Now, if you're growing up in that world, or if you're an adult in that world, and, you know, Elon Musk is killing 300,000 people and bringing over weird Nazis from his home country, it's like, well, what is Congress going to do about that? Because they killed 26 first graders and nobody did anything about that. Congress just let that go by. Is
Right.
anyone going to do anything about this? And it just leads to this feeling of like, well, what am I going to do? You know, what is one woman going to do? You know, and like, that's how they get you. You know, we've talked about that before, is like, that's how they get you. And it's hard to like want to stay in the mix, but it just is so crazy making to be like, no, I am trying to hold on to this feeling of outrage and this feeling of emotion. And you're calling him controversial businessman, Elon Musk. Fuck you, dude. Like, just also speaking of the New York Times today, they put out an article being like, oh, by the way, during the campaign, and this is like not necessarily news, but they're like, during the campaign, Elon Musk was fucking drug-addled, out of his mind psychopath, paying for like all this stuff, donated hundreds of millions of dollars to the Trump campaign, all the while on an alarming amount of ketamine, like so bad he started to have bladder issues. Like, I can't believe he survived it, honestly. And they did not report that out contemporaneously at all. So it's like this other thing happens where it's like where journalists sit on information for months, a lot of times because they want to put out a book, you know, right. And so they don't want to scoop their own book. So all of the juicy stuff comes out 3 years after the fact so that they can sell books. It's like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, wouldn't it have been good for the American people to know that the president's top advisor during the campaign was high on ketamine the entire time? I think that, I don't know if that would have changed things in the election, but I think it would have been good information to have.
I mean, and truly, I'm not doing like a grass is greener thing about the 90s, but like the way that the threshold for outrage has changed, like the way that we had to talk about whether or not Bill Clinton inhaled his one marijuana cigarette in college.
So quaint.
Yeah, and the whole country, like, I mean, of course, especially Republicans, were like, he's unfit for office because 25 years ago he smoked a doobie. Maybe, possibly, but he didn't inhale. And now it's like, I'm sorry. Elon Musk, just a guy.
Yeah.
Out of his mind on ketamine.
Yep.
Advising the president, who is demented.
Correct.
And a felon.
Yes.
And a convicted rapist.
Well, he was convicted of, he is a civilly judged to have sexually assaulted someone. Yes. Criminally, we're not sure.
He is
allegedly.
A judge said that he did an R.
Yes. It's just like their side is the one who somehow have this narrative that Democrats are the one controlling these like human trafficking rings and are like sex creeps. And it's like,
look, all men are sex creeps. However, not really, but sex creep-ishness transcends party. However, some of yous guys, there's one party is creating cultish, fundamentalist Christian offshoots so that they can have 9 12-year-old wives. You know what I mean?
So
some of you are doing that more than others, and that does fall along party lines a little bit.
Maybe we could keep our eye a little bit on the actual ball, which is scary to me. I don't like it. But you're right. It's just sort of like a ketamine-addled Nazi racist weirdo who controls one of the most powerful communication platforms that we have was advising our demented president about matters of policy. And the policy he cares about is white, Afrikaner, farmers who are insistent that they are being racially profiled by Black people in South Africa?
Yeah.
No evidence to speak of?
And then all the little like Trump worms have to go on Fox News and be like, the white farmers are being genocided racially.
The literal Secretary of State had to go on Fox News and be like, it's a serious problem affecting upwards of one person, one guy. And we have to do something about it.
He doesn't believe that. You know?
No, not at all. It's just like, I just feel insane. It just feels like, and then the way that it's described generally in the press is that it's just sort of like, well, yeah, it's politics, baby. You win some, you lose some. It's like, no,
baby, it's not politics, baby anymore, baby.
It's not politics, baby anymore, baby. It's existential, baby. You know? I don't even know. I just, there's no point to this segment. I'm just upset. We're just upset. And it's hard to be alive. And I think.
Well, here's a question.
Yeah.
From me to you as our swamp expert.
Yeah.
Is it good that Elon is leaving?
Well, sure, I guess. I mean, like, technically, but it's like.
Happy?
It's just like, it's hard to, I don't even know what I want to say. It's just like, is he leaving? Because he never was part of it anyways. So it's just sort of like, he was never officially a government employee. He's still unbelievably powerful just as a human being, but especially on the right. Like, he has fans, you know, people, he has acolytes, you know, who really are obsessed with him. And even like the oil and gas freak Republicans, you know, like even Ted Cruz was like posting pictures of Teslas. That I need people to understand how actually crazy that is, that like a senator from Texas who's bought and paid for by the oil and gas industry feels so beholden to do favors for the richest man alive that he is posting photos of an electric car on his Twitter account. Like, that actually like kind of sums it up. That's how powerful Elon Musk is that Ted Cruz was willing to potentially burn longstanding relationships with the previously richest people who would ever live, to like stroke Elon's ego. That's how powerful Elon Musk was, / I think probably still is and will continue to be. Also, he has all the money. So if he wants to contribute to somebody's campaign, you have to do what he says. You know, him and Peter Thiel both are bankrolling these. Where do you fucking think JD Vance came from? JD Vance came from Peter Thiel bankrolling his campaigns, you know. And normally, because Peter Thiel is such a bizarre, strange worm, he usually picks other weird worms that have no chance of winning. But JD Vance is like his one really big success story. Anyway, so the point is, it just is like, yeah, if I thought he was actually exiting politics completely and like wasn't going to have backroom phone calls, like as if he doesn't have a direct line to the Oval Office to just be like, the blacks in South Africa are killing the farmer, or whatever the fuck he thinks is going on, you know? I mean, he's still going to do that. So it just doesn't feel like there's nothing to, it just doesn't feel like there's anything to celebrate. And like, and what does going back to business even mean, you know? Like, I'm not a business expert, although my highest grade in law school was corporations. Isn't that weird? It's true, though.
I don't think it's so weird.
So true. Anyway, so it just feels like he's destroyed the consumer aspect of his business, because like Republicans don't want to buy electric cars. Liberals do. Right. And his foray into politics destroyed that aspect of his business. But maybe that's worth it if he thinks he can get these military contracts. I don't know if he thinks Tesla's going to make military vehicles. Oh, Lord, if I was in the military, I wouldn't set foot into one of those motherfuckers. I wouldn't do it as a consumer either. Or like part of this, and this is why Jeff Bezos is playing cute with Trump too, is that they want access to like NASA assets so they can launch their stupid fucking rockets to space. Like, the private industry doesn't want to have to pay for that stuff. It's almost as if government investments are good, you know? So it's they like it when it's for their stuff. Right. If they can get contracts and if they can use NASA resources to launch their fucking... launch poor Gail. I shouldn't feel bad for Gail. But I do. I don't know. I feel like she got taken. Yeah. I feel like she got taken in. Anyway, it's like, but it's like, oh, government's really good in the limited circumstance where it helps me, Jeff, and me, Mark Zuckerberg, and me, Elon Musk, but it's very bad in the very broad and much needed circumstance of keeping people alive with healthcare and food and school. That's bad. And also, fuck them kids in the global south, especially. They deserve to die, I guess.
300,000 people is crazy.
That's a lot of people.
It's so crazy the way that, I mean, how many times can we say different versions of this? But the way that no one will admit that that's what racism is. That you don't think that it matters.
It's always just like racial overtones or controversial immigrants from South Africa. It's like, no, dude, have the fucking headline say what it is they think.
Yeah.
This weird, freakish, like this fringe group of white supremacist conspiracy theorists who are now getting mainstreamed by the president of the United States. And meanwhile, this man is so demented. I don't even think Donald Trump has any idea any of this shit's going on. He just hears it once. He heard Elon say Afrikaner farmers and he's like, okay. And now he just repeats whatever it was he said. Meanwhile, he's off fucking pardoning
Crisley
Todd.
Knows best.
He's pardoning Crisley Knows best. Well, apparently Todd is jacked. He got jacked in prison. So Meagan, I don't know.
It's in the name. He knows best. You need Crisley on the team.
We got to get Crisley out of there. We got to get Crisley on the team. We've got to help the racist farmers, and Crisley knows best. By the way, I'm sure everyone knows this, but that happened because either Crisley or Crisley's wife's mom went to a fundraiser and gave Donald Trump $1 million. And then he pardoned jacked Todd and his wife from prison. And meanwhile,
who did real crime, by the way. They did
an actual real, they defrauded banks and other white collar crimes. And meanwhile, we had a whole news cycle about whether or not it was bad for Joe Biden to pardon his son. And we're having a whole news cycle right now where we are in space and time, Friday, May 30th. We're right in the mix of a whole news cycle about how it was bad, which it was, but Jake Tapper wrote this whole book about how it was bad that Joe Biden ran for a second term because he was infirm and potentially maybe not completely cognitively there. Totally fair question. I'd just like to direct Jake Tapper's attention to the current actual president who doesn't remember his own name.
He has a great big fat friend who's rich.
Very rich. It's just
he's taking
like,
the fat shot.
Like, I don't know. Just like to your point about like how the media operates in this landscape, it's like, I'm not saying it's not important that, and I think that going forward, should we be more careful about who's running for second terms in the Democratic Party? Absolutely. I'm not saying it's not important. What I am saying is we have a current president who is actually deranged. Maybe somebody could talk about that.
Maybe somebody.
I don't know though. Keep me posted.
Last thing I want to say is I feel like part of the problem, like this big, awkward, fuzzy, like inability to talk about what's going on, let alone do anything. Part of that is that all of the old classifications are all muddled, where like the thing about like now Ted Cruz loves electric cars. Like everything's like all crazy and mixed up now. And it's like we no longer know how to know who's who and who's for what. And like different alliances have shifted in such weird ways that I think people start to be like, well, maybe the Republicans are good, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I feel like you've said this before where people just don't map cleanly into, I don't even know if that's necessarily a good or bad thing either way, but like I used to work for a very crunchy private school and none of the kids were vaccinated, right? And so there is this kind of interesting circle of like the Maha belief system where it's like, either you're not getting vaccines because you don't trust the government, that's the right, or you're not getting vaccines because you don't trust the pharmaceutical companies, and those are people on the left. But either way, you're not getting the vaccine. Yeah. And so I think it kind of started a little bit around there, but now it's just like people have these bizarre conspiracy beliefs, like actual genuine, closely held beliefs that do not map cleanly onto our understanding of right versus left. And in fact, just this week where we are in space and time, Donald Trump has done that to me, where he posted on True Social that Leonard Leo, the architect of the fucking disaster that is our federal judiciary, is a sleazebag who hates America. And I was like, yeah, like that's what I've been saying. I just was like, what's going on? He's like destroying Harvard. And I was like, yeah, Harvard sucks, but not like this. Not like this.
Can you show your work to so we can see how you got there? Because I don't think we got there on the same road.
I don't think we did the division and the math and the multiplication. I think I did PEMDAS.
Yeah.
And you did something else. But we both got to Leonard Leo is a sleazebag who hates America.
It just makes everything very confusing. I'm
so confused.
You know, like, it brings me a little bit of joy when they land on the right thing, except not really, because then it ends up being used as like character rehabilitation, or like,
yeah,
right. This guy's not as unreasonable. But then you find out that the reason he hates Leonard Leo is because, one time, like he was going to shoot his doorman in the head, and Leonard Leo had already used all of his bullets.
Yeah, that's why they're beefing. Literally, they're beefing because the judges that Leonard Leo hand selected aren't going for Trump 100% of the time. They're only going for him 99.9%, and that is unacceptable. And so that is why he now hates Leonard Leo. And it's like, oh, bro, you're so close. But now I'm in this like crazy feeling of like, well, if he stops taking Leonard Leo's advice, is that scarier? Like now he's completely off book, right? Is that scarier than if he just picked Leonard Leo's psycho MAGA people to be judges? Because now we're getting into territory where he's picking teenagers. He's picking big balls. People without even like legal background. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do.
That was my other question. Is Big Balls out if Elon's leaving, or does he get to
the
stay?
thing is, like a lot of those Doge guys, I don't know if Big Ball specifically, but a lot of those Doge guys are still going to be around. It's just like Elon himself will quote unquote be gone, but the Doge people will still have their sweet gaming setups in the executive office building across the street from the White House.
Cool, Megs.
Yeah, it's really cool. We don't have like a solution for this. This is just a processing sesh, but why don't you just email us or contact us and let us know how you are coping? I love it when you guys say, here's an update on the bird you named Anthony Cosby-Knowles.
Yeah.
Stuff like that would be great. If you got anything like that, let us know.
This morning, Megan, in one of the great big trees in our yard, there was a tiny little squirrel saying,
I like it when they say that.
Yeah, and then he ran down the tree and like did a little spiral around and around the tree, and he was so cute.
Nice. I love that. Here's a nice thing. Kevin is not a particularly snuggly dog, but lately, and also, so our sleep setup is Kevin sleeps in the bed and he has his own pillow in the bed. That's normal, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sometimes he climbs down from his little pillow, which is set up right above my head. That's where he likes to be. Mm-hmm. He'll climb down, and if my back is to him, he will be big spoon to me. He'll put his little paws on my back and kind of press into me. And it's just nice to know he's back there.
Kevin.
You know what I mean? It's nice. He doesn't really like it if I turn around to be like, Kevin. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm not ready to be perceived by you, but I will be back here. And so that has been really nice. That has just a little Kevin snuggle in the morning.
That's what really I do with the squirrel.
Yeah. It's nice. I give him walnuts and he spoons me. He's very
rich.
Okay, we're going to take a break and then we're going to end the show, but give us a call, 703-829-0003, or email us, deartextmeback@gmail.com, and let us know how you're staying alive. By the way, if the answer to that is your podcast, I want to hear that. Don't think that I don't want to hear that. Email us and tell us how much you love our podcast. We'll be right back. Lindy.
Well, Megan.
Can I say one last thing before we go? Because
Yeah.
I want to talk about it so we can put it in the Instagram carousel. I'm getting a tattoo removed.
Oh, right. That's right. We were going to talk about that.
And honestly, I love this tattoo. I think he's really cute. It healed really badly and it looks like shit. And it has like since the beginning. And I was just trying to power through and be like, oh, it doesn't bother me, but it does. I might get it again, but better later. But but he's a wolf doing the like solidarity fist. And it's from Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Wes Anderson film. Highly recommend. George Clooney is Mr. Fox. Meryl Streep is Mrs. Fox. It's a great film. Great film. But I'm getting it removed and I'll eventually get it covered. It hurts like a motherfucker. Oh boy, does it hurt. It hurts so bad. It's 20 to 50 times more painful than getting the actual tattoo.
Oh my God.
It's 20 times more expensive to remove it than it was to get it in the first place.
Can't you just get a cover up?
It's just so dark. I didn't feel like I could cover it up without getting something even bigger and darker. So I was like, well, I'll just get it lightened and then cover it up with something more dainty. You know what I mean? But I'm only bringing it up because they made me wear a pair of really cool glasses when I was getting lasered. So I want to post it on the Instagram. So I just thought I'd bring that up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Should we end the show?
Yeah, but I want to ask you a question because my mother has given me an insecurity. And she didn't mean to do it to me. She was talking about herself, but I was over at her house the other day and she was like, look at my jowls. Don't you think I look like a bulldog?
Oh
and
my
then,
God.
so now all I can see is my own jowls. Do you think I'm growing? See, like what, see these lines? And then what if they were like this? Then no jowls.
I don't think those are jowls. I'm on this horrible subreddit that's like 30s plus skincare, and it's really given me a complex about stuff I never even considered in my life. And I think that's your nasolabial folds. By your mouth. And you could get Botox. Apparently Botox helps.
I'm never going to do that. Too lazy.
Me neither. Too lazy. But if you want to help Lindy's Botox journey, you better subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/textmebackpod. You'll love it. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. And I think we got to end the show because my headphones broke and now everyone's scared to talk, or otherwise there'll be an echo. Right, Lindy?
Yes, Megan, that's exactly right.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.